Sorry about that. A delivery came to the door, my Bible sketchbook, so I'm going to give them out. Do you want one? So I thought I'd take a break and work on an American Film Festival, Christian Film Festival. And this is C.S. Lewis, who is with a professor in England, a strong Christian. Shadowlands. It's a movie about 1993 about C.S. Lewis and his wife. She's an American divorcee. I guess that's a French word. And it regards government versus church marriage. They did get married, but it's very brief because it's sad she died from cancer. And he had been a bachelor for a long time, and they were just married briefly. He adopted her two sons. He's an Oxford professor in England. He was atheist and converted. Friend of J.R. Tolkien, who wrote The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. He wrote a good book about how to deal with grief. The sadness inside you hurts so much. My mom and dad died. And it's just how to deal with grief. Write about it. Go to a grief group. I forget what he said, but his famous books, children's books, are Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe and a series there. I think it's 4 other books for children. Modern movie about him we saw The Most Reluctant Convert. This was my first movie I saw after the movie theaters were closed down in 2020. So he's the most reluctant convert, very intellectual man. C.S. Lewis was played by Anthony Hopkins and Deborah Winger. And I hope you like it if you get to see it. Scarlet and the Black is a movie that was made for TV movie, so it's not as good as like a theatrical movie in the movie theater. This is with Gregory Peck. So years ago, about 25 years ago, my church had a movie night, and I led it for a little bit. So I'm trying to think. 25 years later, I thought I'd share these movies with you, and I'm trying to get a movie group going again. So this Gregory Peck, he plays a priest who helped in World War II. He helped Jews escape and prisoners of war. I think he hid them. I remember, from what I remember about this movie, is loving your enemies. So he was, as you can see, has many enemies around him, but he loved them. How do we do that? That is hard to love your enemy. Pray for them. 1983, Scarlet and the Black is the color of the priest, and I read somewhere it's the color of the Nazi uniform as well. It's about Monsignor O'Flaherty. Monsignor Hugh O'Flaherty, Irish name. He was born 1898 to 1963. This is made for television, and it's about an Irish priest who saved Jews and escaped prisoners during World War II. And for me, it was good about love your enemies. So this Gregory Peck, my grandmother went to school and college with Gregory Peck in California years ago. She said he was very tall. Babette's Feast. This is a French movie. I don't remember it too much, but it was about a religious sect in Denmark, and so it's got Danish subtitles. Very simple movie about a small group of religious people, maybe in the 1800s, early 1900s, and they take in a French lady named Babette, and she thanks them, and she cooks a big feast for them. What a blessing that was. Okay, would be Jill's Christian Film Review. Babette's Feast is Danish in 1987. It's about a religious sect, a religious group, small group, mostly older people. That houses Babette, and she serves them a large, joyful feast as a thank you. That would be a blessing, huh? Isn't it nice to eat food together and fellowship? My last book, movie, unless The dog barks, is Inn of Six Happiness. That's a Chinese term. This is about Gladys Aylward, a Chinese missionary from England. I stayed at a building called the Gladys Aylward building in William Carey Institute in California, and then we went and taught English in China for a year. So she was British, not Swedish. This is starring Ingrid Bergman, the beautiful Swedish lady, movie actress. It's from 1902 to she was 1902 to 1970, and she was a British-born missionary to China. She was a servant. Be quiet. Be quiet. She's uneducated, but God used her, and she had an incredible trip to China, a train trip, very dangerous. But I don't think it was in the movie. It was in the book I read. Just Google Wikipedia, Google these people, and you'll learn all about them. Ingrid Bergman, the actress, met Gladys Aylward, and maybe she became a Christian, Ingrid Bergman. My grandmother, born in 1904, I remember her saying, "Oh, Ingrid Bergman, scandal, terrible." She had an affair, I think had some twins, divorced. But, at the end of her life, she died from cancer, and I believe she became a Christian. So the lady she played, Gladys Aylward, was a good storyteller, if I remember from the movie, and that helped with reaching the Chinese. She helped stop the foot binding of young girls. That was the culture back then. 100 years ago, is to wrap up girls' feet so they're so small and beautiful and petite. But that's very bad for your feet, so she helped to stop the foot binding of young girls. She started off as an assistant. So she was a housekeeper in England, and then went to China and helped as an assistant, and then she worked with orphans. So this movie has artistic liberties. Maybe it's not all true. Like Ingrid Bergman was Swedish, Gladys Aylward was English, but so some things, there were some changes from the book to the movie, which happens a lot, or from her life to the movie. Sometimes we say based on a true story, so they could have artistic liberties, but it's mostly a true story. And this is about Gladys Aylward, a missionary to China from England. And I hope you enjoy it if you get to see it. Take care now. Have a good day.